All right, so the next question. Competitors targeting my Google site links and brand. I don't know how, but my six-pack and site links are now down to 3. What can I do to get Google to regain my 6 site links back? It's a good question. I'm not real sure how to answer that, only because I haven't messed with asking, like trying to force Google to make site links appear. I know it used to be able to do that in Search Console in Classic, but I don't think I've seen that in the new, or I've not attempted it in the new Search Console, although I know they do have legacy tools available. Marco, do you know how to answer that one?
No, I have no idea because I don't know what Google. I mean, I do know what Google does with site links. It's saying that it only shows them when they're useful to the user, and that's from I read it in Webmaster somewhere. I think it was. I usually can't remember where I read shit. I just remember what I read, and they said they did say in that post that it's automated. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure how we can get that back. They say how they're working to improve the site links algorithms and all these things. So I'm just not sure. Other than, what did you change anything so that your site links are no longer appearing? Because I know that they were appearing for Semantic Mastery, then they went away, then they came back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not sure what Google is doing right now with the site links that this particular person is talking about.
Yeah, and like what I was saying was, and I remember in the old interface for Search Console, there was a place that you could ask, essentially you could request site links and you could put in suggested site links. But Google even stated at that point that, it didn't mean that they were going to display them. But I do know what Marco's talking about. For example, in the mastermind I was sharing with, I had put FAQ schema on for my real estate business. I put FAQ schema in on my landing page because I have some, frequently asked questions. And then it was interesting, but and I don't think it's showing now, it only showed for about a day, but when you did a brand search for Alpha Land Realty, the press advantage page came up, the organization page, and actually it was from an individual press release that had, the landing page embedded at the bottom of the press release, and Google pulled the FAQ schema in from the press release, and it actually showed the question and answer box with like the accordion boxes with the questions, and you click it, and it would expand and show the answers right in the search results for Alpha Land Realty. And the FAQ box was actually, so that was a featured snippet basically with the FAQs in it, were actually part of the meta description of the press release URL for my brand search. It was really interesting, and it took up a huge amount of real estate on the page, but it only lasted a day. And so I know what Marco's saying is true. There's a lot of stuff Google's playing around with displaying stuff sometimes and not other times. And I think that's pretty average. It seems like it occurs more often now than it used to, where they're constantly tweaking the SERPs. And I think they do that just to determine what gets the best response from users. Am I right in that assumption?
I mean, I would say so. We don't know Google, and especially when it comes to the AI. This is AI, and you saw the same thing that I did for the Land Solutions Network case study, which was the FAQ coming through a press release, right, or the media page in Press Advantage, and being displayed in search results for the brand. Now it did go away, but yeah. So what this is telling you, it's the AI going in and seeing that it just didn't fit. It shouldn't be there. Oh, there it is.
And there it came in this Google site this time. Look at that. That's the Google site this time, and there's the FAQ box. That's exactly what I was talking about. So I'm glad it's appearing right now. So yeah, that's really interesting because that is an inner page on the Google site, and it's because of and that's going to break my browser because of all the embeds. But that's the schema on the actual landing page, which is embedded in the Google site page, right? The G site page from the Drive stack, and boom, there's the FAQ box. Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
So that's exactly what we were just talking about. I don't know that you can do anything to influence that, is what I'm saying. The next question is, sometimes I would regain, I guess it's a follow-up comment really. Sometimes I would regain it and it would come back to 5 or 6, but when they are hit again, and I don't know what you mean. How do you know you're getting hit? Are you just monitoring, like, is it spam links? Are they negative SEOing you through spam links and over optimized anchor text links and that kind of stuff? I'm just curious. He says that whenever they're hit. So I just wonder, like, how do you know you're being hit? I'm just curious. The links disappear and I notice rankings drop. Please advise, as the competitor has been doing this for several years. I bought the shield and plan on buying done for you services, but just want to make sure I get them in the right order and the correct ones. Thanks in advance. Yeah, one of the best things Marco always talks about, the best thing to fight against negative SEO or for competitors doing that kind of shit is to just build a super strong entity. And there's nothing better that we know of than having the SEO shield and really building out the entity, right? Entity-based SEO, that's what we've been teaching. So you're on the right track. Marco, do you have any follow-up?
No, because that's exactly what I was going to recommend. If the competitor is coming after you and you know that they're engaged in negative SEO and they're hitting you, then build that keyword and that brand plus keyword relationship, or brand plus location plus keyword relationship, whether you're local or anything else. And the best way to do that is through your structured data. Make sure it's in JSON plus LD, and make sure that it's better than any of your competitors. That you give the bot as much information as possible. Make sure this is going to be part of when we go into the not only the entity but the structured data part of the heavy hitter webinar series. Is we're going to teach you how to create these relationships between your pages and your organization, the parent organization. If you have franchises, if you have locations, if you have different locations, there's a whole bunch of ways where you can reference. We're going to call it a parent-child relationship, but where the parent references the child references the parent, so that there is no ambiguity as to what each one is.
Yeah, and so just to point out, like, the structured data is so important. And so this is for that same page where, I was just talking about the Alpha Land Realty guys. You want to put your entity assets for sure, and same as if it's local business, you'll use local business schema. If it's not a local business, or it even can be a local business, you can use organization or corporation schema, depending on, the way, like I usually use organization or corporation schema for multi-location businesses. Anyways, the point is it's super, super important, because that's what you're feeding the bot with, that structured data. And that's how you get that remember, this structured data is not only on my landing page, right? It's also duplicated in the ID page. It's embedded in, it's also in the Press Advantage organization page. But then whenever we embed those pages into the G site now has structured data inherently within the page. And so it's a way to just constantly reinforce that brand, that entity. And that's what causes that kind of stuff. So it's super, super powerful to do that. And that's also, by the way, that's the FAQ schema right there, which, you can generate that kind of schema. And I don't know, that wasn't your question. I understand that. But adding schema, don't like spam schema, but if you can add structured data to elements of the page, do it, because that's working incredibly well right now. It's the semantic web,
FAQ, video, author,
yep.
Employee, owner, founder,
product reviews.
As much information as you can about each, and not only general, but each page should have individual page schema, and even your posts should have different schema. I mean, you can get that technical with it, so that there's absolutely no doubt. Because here's the problem, and I keep telling people that you're going to keep running into this problem more and more as we go deeper into the semantic web. When you look at your content, your unstructured data, right? Whatever it is that you're writing through Google's natural language processor, the problem is that Google is fucking up your entity, or that you're not doing a good enough job with the unstructured data, with what you're writing, so that you're telling Google exactly what your content is about. Run it through a natural language processor and look at what Google is seeing as your entities versus what you think Google is seeing. Like, one of the things that I'm getting paid the most money for is to go and help people to look at their content, at whatever it is that they're writing, and making sure that they're creating the right association. Because you can do, I mean, if you see what the bot is doing, people talk about artificial intelligence and Google's natural language processor as this almighty thing who knows all and understands all and sees all, and it's not. And if you're getting screwed up at the unstructured level, and you don't have the structured data to direct the bot, then you're in absolute trouble. I mean, there's just no way that you can work around it unless you're still brute forcing shit. And I don't see how much longer you can just keep brute forcing without the structured and unstructured data being right on the page. It has to be right, it has to be tight, it has to be exactly about whatever it is that you're doing. No matter what it is, you have to tell the bot exactly what it is so that the bot doesn't come to your unstructured data and start guessing whatever your project is about.
Yeah, and I brought this up just because, guys, you can go to Google and search technical SEO schema markup generator. It comes right up. Just schema markup generator. It'll come right up to the top of Google search. Anyways, these are all the different. This is the tool that I use to generate schema. I'm sure there's others. This is just the one that I use because it's got pretty much most all of the ones that I'm going to use anyways. Right here, you could just pick, for example, article. There's 3 different article types. There's an article, there's a news article, and there's blog posting. So again, that, if you have your own, we won't do this inside MGYB, but if you have your own Press Advantage subscription, for example, you can go and log into your own dashboard and you can actually add news article schema to each individual press release, right? Which is super fucking powerful. And same thing with art. You can do an article or blog posting and add that schema, that structured data for article or blog posting in the header part of your post on your blog. So for example, you use a plugin like SEO, I know, and they have a schema generator inside the SEO Ultimate Pro plugin. I still tend to use this tool just because I got efficient with this tool, but you can, and you don't have to use the SEO Ultimate Pro plugin. You could use just like a header and footer plugin or any sort of plugin that allows you to inject code into the header or the footer and that kind of stuff on a page by page basis. And you can actually create individual blog post schema or article schema for each individual post. Same thing like Marco said, everything you can add structured data to for the elements on the page, like for example, video, recipe, product, person, all of these are available in here. So FAQ page, right? So it's very, very powerful stuff that you can do with structured data because that speaks directly to the bots, right? That's what the semantic web is about. So anyways, this is a great question.